Welcome back. We missed you. I hope you missed us. It has been too long. I found out that we're only on episode 6, and it's been like 3 years since we've been running this campaign, so I'm not sure how the math works out.
Sometimes I think about the fact that we only started this game slightly before Christmas. And
Yeah.
it does feel like we've packed 17 campaigns worth of stuff into those sessions. So
Yes, we are back for more stuff. Just some house cleaning. I think by now, some of you may have heard the announcement that Stu is retiring, and I wish him the best. I'm glad he's looking out for himself.
Yeah.
And Kimmy is going to be now taking the helm at Happy Jacks Network. And the reason I bring this up at this actual play is because it's not really going to affect us much. I mean, Kimmy's already been running the actual plays, but our campaign is going to straddle the moving of the studio. And so for that reason, as things have gotten pretty complicated, scheduling and whatnot, we are just going to stay virtual now for the duration of this campaign. Which means Jason's going to go ahead and just move into the cast. Now, Eli has bowed out of the campaign. He was having some difficulty, getting to the virtual anyway and getting that set up. So he's going to bow out, and everything's fine on that front. Just want to let you know, and he's doing fine and well, and wishes you all the best. But Jason will be keeping. I almost called her Eleanor Roosevelt, but not Eleanor Roosevelt. Amelia Earhart. On the team of Eleanor Roosevelt's Angels.
The mask comes off.
the illustrious Dr. Ear.
So you will continue to see the Eye of Horus, but we'll be virtual, and that'll be for the duration of the campaign.
Sorry, I think I meant 5, the Barry and his 5 lesbian moms.
That's what I meant. Did I not say that? Okay, just to be clear. Barry.
I gotta write a theme song for this now that
Barry and his 5 moms, they're lesbians. I don't know.
It's a good start, but we'll workshop it.
This is my this is what I'm using my singing lessons for, is to make up terrible theme songs.
You have to use your
1,
power.
2, 3, 4, 5. Barry has 5 moms, so come on, let's ride to the painted lady in the sky. And
I'm gonna ask the Oracle for some help. So,
Does she do her own songwriting? Okay.
As long as she doesn't give us copyright.
Oh, that was serious shade. I think I insulted Emily.
or she does all her own songwriting. I'm gonna tweet at her right now. Tell her to follow this campaign.
I mean, Damon Albarn just called her out for it, and he got in trouble. So maybe you don't want to go.
Everyone, you don't want to end up like Damon Albarn.
If friend of the show Taylor Swift would like to join the show, we can arrange. Like, I can put an extra square on the screen. We can certainly get that set up for her. So
I'm wondering who she'd play. I'm gonna find the book here and
Well,
pick out a character.
she'd play herself.
as herself.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but she's got to have maybe she can be the
herself time traveled back, and
she can be the socialite. That sounds good.
Mm.
Taylor,
Oh.
we got a character for you already. The socialite.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
join
I
us.
actually almost picked that one, so it's a great one.
Yeah.
spoiler: Taylor Swift only plays Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh no, Tay would go in
Famously.
D&D. She would. Okay, now that we are across that stream of diversion,
We'll never be across it. I'm here.
it might be more like a tide of diversion, like it keeps coming back. We last left our heroes a while ago, so we kind of probably need to recapture a bit of what happened. I think the highlights are that some things were discovered. We discovered that nobody knew this, by the way. I don't think anybody saw this coming, that Colonel Frank Warden was a bad guy.
None of us saw that coming. None of us guessed that the second we met him and turned down his tea.
It was a
I
shock.
for one was shocked.
Yeah, it was a shock. And he apparently has some American soldiers with him doing his will. But his will, as it turns out, isn't so maybe villainous. Well, I don't know. I guess it depends. But he wants to use the Eye of Horus, which is an artifact going back to ancient Egypt that is mysterious and apparently makes you invulnerable. And he wants to use that in order to overthrow the Nazis and kill Hitler. That's his plan. He wants to stop the war before it comes. And he's doing it outside of the jurisdiction of Eleanor Roosevelt, who has this team together, but within the jurisdiction of the president.
Have we checked that this is a forgery?
Oh, well, that's a good question. Should probably check.
It's a
We haven't
classic
done it
example
yet.
of doing a good thing the wrong way.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe we don't need ancient Egyptian artifacts to do this.
Yeah.
Now, is he a time traveler who has come back with the express purpose of killing Hitler?
Who, FDR?
Because-
Oh, maybe.
No, Colonel Warden.
Oh.
Because I feel like there's a whole lot of literature about how that's usually a bad idea.
Yes. About baby Hitler, that whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if he is a time traveler, I don't know why he would go like in 1938, when Hitler's
True.
amassed
The
all of it.
worst possible time to try to get to him. Yeah.
But yeah, he has that on his plan, but he's going rogue on Eleanor, and he's gotten support from FDR. So now
Mhm.
there's this sort of weird, what do we do about that? Do you go against the president and commit treason against the United States, or do you support Eleanor and her hidden cause, parasocial cause, to defend the world from artifacts from falling into the war machine? That's kind of where we left it. Sort of a big problem. Also, I think there was something else important that was
I think
happening.
we
I think you were.
airshipped out and the ship changed shape and then we landed and it turned into something else again. And I lost a little bit of what happened there, but
It was a Zeppelin, and then it was back to an airplane, and now we are heading to London with it. And Scarlett is not telling Barry more than Barry needs to know.
Yeah, you have a shape-shifting airplane,
Respect fast.
which apparently is not only that, but it seems to be a teleporting shape-shifting airplane. It's like phasing in and out of reality. Did you catch that last time? I was sort of like, so that's weird. You were planning on going out to London, and we didn't actually do the takeoff there. So that's sort of probably where we're going to start. Is what everybody catches their breath. Let's distill. Where are we doing now?
There was some kind of map with a bunch of like hidden civilizations, right? Or like
Yeah,
alternate
inside the engine
realities.
room. Inside
Yeah.
the engine room, we saw a map. But what Libby noticed was that these were all sort of underworld locations from mythology. Was that Libby who noticed that? Somebody did.
I'm sure she did. She's very intelligent.
There was a moment with Barry and Amelia in the engine room as well. I think there was a little bit of shop talk about different realities and things or something.
Yeah,
like
maybe
that.
it was Amelia then that saw those.
yeah, I was going to ask if they matched up to any of the, the equivalent of, I'm picturing the aliens having tried to explain wormhole travel with like on a whiteboard, I mean, first of all, whiteboard and expo marker would be phenomenal in 1938. That did not exist.
Yeah,
that was alien technology.
Yeah, dry erase marker.
Right. And Amelia seems to be pretty preoccupied with the idea of aliens. I don't know if that's been expressed openly to the group, but there is an assumption, I think, on her behalf that this is alien work.
Yeah. And I mean, she has pretty obviously non-human technology in her ray gun. Like,
right. Well, it could be,
that's just German.
Yeah, it could be German.
Tell me if this is metagaming too much, but Scarlett's assumption was Atlantis.
Oh yeah, that's
just
cool.
like, oh yeah, you went missing in the area that the underwater sea, Atlantis. That's probably.
Well, she went missing in the Pacific, and I always thought Atlantis was in the Atlantic, but maybe that's just because that's a cognate. And
it is supposedly in the Atlantic, but
okay,
I believe Lemuria is in
Lemuria or Mu.
Yeah.
Would be appropriate. Yeah, it depends on the.
I was thinking underwater civilization.
Yeah, but I also
ancient prehistorical one with a bunch of technology, right?
It's your notes. If you read the notes,
Pre-Diluvian.
Atlantis is real.
But I also feel like if you disappear at sea and get dragged into an underwater civilization, it's probably just they all just start connected, So it's probably all of them at once.
But I also don't think in character we've all like sat down and had a conversation about where Amelia was.
There
So
hasn't been a chance because you showed up and then there was a
it's
big
just been
gunfight
boom,
and
boom,
chase.
boom. Yeah.
And now this is the first moment. This is why I wanted to stop before you head to London or anywhere else, just to kind of, okay, take a breath. Also, you need to clear all of your catches and rest for a minute.
Yeah.
For a couple of reasons. One of them was we're not sure who all had catches. So it's just.
I had a lot.
I'm happy to clear.
Catch
I
a
have
breath,
3 and
take
I'm
a
happy
break.
to clear them.
Yeah.
Take a break. Technically, it's a long rest, so you want to just like overnight, maybe you're in the middle of the desert, so you can make a fire outside the plane or whatever.
Sure.
To just sort of unwind and maybe catch up a little and find out, first of all, what has happened. Secondly, what you're going to do, because just a reminder, there are three conflicting missions at play right now. The first mission is to retrieve the Eye of Horus, which is still missing. You've recovered the mummy, you've recovered the sarcophagus, you left it in the hands of Stanley, who I still don't understand why you did that, but Stanley apparently is protecting that from the Italian fascists and whoever else might be after it.
Stanley has as much plot armor as an NPC can have. He just does.
Yeah, I mean, have you seen his shotgun?
Yeah, he's pretty handy with that.
Stanley is the Eye of Horus.
So there's the Pharaoh Seti I in a sarcophagus in the hands of I think he was the deputy editor for.
It was like, yeah, he's like a junior editor.
So that's one mission. The second mission was for Amelia to get you all out of Dodge ASAP, pronto, because of reasons. And some of those reasons might be that she has realized that Warden is an enemy of her cause, and so needs to pull you out while he's mobilizing American troops under the president's order.
And I think my orders were get them to London, right?
Yes,
specifically
get them to London. So that's the other mission. The third mission is the president's orders to get the Eye of Horus under command of Warden to go and take care of the Nazis. So you have these three conflicting missions, and two of them from Amelia, one of them from FDR, and two of them from Eleanor, and one of them from FDR. So yeah, good luck with all that. So we just needed to still figure out what you're going to do and catch up.
I want to find out if this is a forgery.
Okay.
I want to make sure that we forgot one thing, which is that across the course of the game, everyone has been dazzled, delighted, and entertained by Libby, and everyone who meets her has a crush on her instantly. That's an important part of the story. We need to keep.
That's canon. That's canon.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I need to apologize to you, Emily. That I thought went without saying, but
I just it's been a bit. Yeah.
And Barry's very conflicted about it.
So let's just remember that, right? Going
Charlotte
forward.
is very conflicted about all of the hot women she knows.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is not particularly complicated for Amelia, the only single lady here.
Yeah.
I know, and then there was the moment where it was like, hey, look how cool I am on the Zeppelin. Like, so great. I can't hair flip anymore.
I saw the hair flip though.
It was there. It was like glorious red hair just going poof and sparkles.
So is this presidential order forgery?
I'm actually going to hand this to Libby and ask her to do this because I know Libby is better at this stuff than I am.
Well,
So I'm going
thank
to
you.
go, all right, Libby, I need your skills. Can you tell me if this is a forgery or not?
I perhaps can. So how would I perhaps do that?
I'm thinking
Christopher?
that's wit and savvy.
Wit and savvy. My goodness. All right. Well, let's see here.
Is there a help roll in this?
Yeah, if you can help, then that will add another die to her pool.
So I should help first if that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, or just tell me how you're helping.
I
Okay,
guess
I was thinking the right kind of like the right frequency of UV, blasted light onto this piece of paper might, help show the veracity of the seal or the signature or anything like that.
Sure.
From my ray gun, I mean.
Right. That sounds wonderful. So I get an extra die, is what you're saying?
Actually, I think you
Can
could
multiple people help?
say again.
Can multiple people help?
Oh, can multiple people help? Yes.
This is a coven ritual.
Yes, a coven ritual. That's right, from a Great American Witch.
Because I have hung out with both Eleanor and FDR, can I like use my knowledge of maybe his handwriting or his signature to try and like help her figure this out?
Yeah, and you can probably even tell who wrote it, because often FDR wouldn't write his own orders, but but you can probably tell who on the cabinet did, based on how it's raised.
Okay, wonderful.
So that's 2 dice.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Christopher.
Well, I didn't do anything.
So I need to get 1 6.
Yes.
Okay, well, I got 2. I got 2 6s, so I get a hero dice next time around.
Yeah, not only is this an official order from FDR, he wrote it.
Oh, interesting. Now I would recognize.
And in addition to that, Scarlet would know that FDR doesn't write his own order, so that means that he's the only one that knows about this order.
Yes. Interesting.
That's the extra X. That's the extra success.
Okay.
Wow. I see.
I mean, obviously, except Warden knows about the order.
Yeah.
That's
Well, I do
cool.
believe.
Are we
Go
all
ahead.
like sort of huddled over a desk or workstation or something on the plane?
Yeah.
The swinging
have-
lantern.
Yeah.
I have one of those like jewelers eyes.
Yeah.
things.
And I'm just like shining this light down. Like, whoa.
Scarlet is like pinpointing each like curve of the letter to tell like.
Yeah.
This is odd that FDR wrote this himself.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a replication or anything.
No,
this is
his handwriting.
You can smudge the ink a little bit. He absolutely wrote this, and he wrote it recently, within the last week or so, I'd say. So not only is this not a forgery, but this is an authentic FDR signature. We can sell this for a lot of money.
Let's not do that.
I could expose this to the press discreetly.
Well, that may be better if we know that the president is committing what is essentially treason.
We need to know. We
Or war
we
crimes.
need more information before we can act. And I personally think we should go to London, talk to Eleanor, show this to Eleanor, and go from there.
Right.
That's my personal belief, because we don't have enough information to act on this, and I don't want to go against Eleanor. I
For
don't
the
like that
record-
her husband is going against her. Like, he knows about me. Come on, don't do this.
Personally, I'm not opposed to removing Hitler. That's not what I have an issue with.
That's also not what I have an issue with. I have an issue with the going AWOL mentality of it all.
Mr. Hitler's a terrible, terrible person who should be removed immediately, but I do feel as though if we suddenly remove him with an all-powerful Egyptian artifact, absolute power corrupts absolutely. It's a slippery slope in my eyes.
It's a slippery slope, and who's to say that someone else won't fill the void? Like, we just take away one.
Right. Or that the person who takes him out with this artifact just simply steps into his place and has the entire German war machine at their, disposal.
I just don't think it's a calculated effort, really. Like, we need to think about how we're going to do this. And if we're going to do it, we probably have to remove multiple world powers, which is not simple.
No.
Just a quick ask. Colonel Warden is still under your care?
He's in the brig.
I'm assuming you're having this conversation outside of earshot.
Yeah, he's in the brig.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where's the brig? Outside the plane, tethered up.
He's tied to a wing.
It's just like a steel bar cage, so because we don't have a real brig.
It's for pumas.
It's like you be in there. No, you're definitely doing this out of your shop.
Oh no, it's the cage that you usually keep the raptors in.
Yeah. Who now wear hats.
We left those raptors with Mr. Santa Claus, so.
No, we took them with us.
You took a couple.
And we did, didn't we? Yeah.
I don't remember their names, but we took 2.
Can we bring the raptors back for the submarine bottle episode?
Okay, so I just think we need to know. We need to get Eleanor and FDR on the same page, and we need to understand. Not opposed to taking out bad people, just worried it's going to make more bad people fill this spots, and we're not like Hydra, where you take off one head, you get 2 more.
We want to do the good thing in a good way.
Yes, and I don't know that this is a good way. I don't know that it prevents war necessarily.
Allow me to play devil's advocate for a moment. Now, if Mr. Hitler is doing the many bad things we think he is, perhaps there is some efficacy to just removing him and letting the chips fall where they may. We know the bad that's happening right now. What we don't know is the bad that will happen. We assume some will, but we don't know which is worse. I think I'm increasingly interested in the idea of stopping the bad that's happening right now.
I'm definitely interested in stopping the bad, but we might need a more calculated effort on how to do that. And I think it might also involve other world powers and all world leaders being taken out. And I'm not... Who gets to play judge on this exactly?
I do, thank you.
I really don't have any misgivings about eliminating him as long as it's with a plan and, you know, there's a sort of follow-up strategy of what happens if somebody much smarter than him, which isn't much of a stretch, could take over. So.
Yeah, I think we need to be careful to make sure that we're not just empowering someone else. So we need to know more information. We just need to know more. Who's to say his right-hand man isn't worse? Like, who knows? A few very bad things happening in the world right now.
Now, but listen. If one of us was all powerful and theoretically we could stop it and stop everyone who might be worse. And I don't trust many people on this planet, but I do trust you, Scarlet. I think we should make you all powerful and kill Mr. Hitler and whoever might also be terrorizing
I'm really
us.
interested in that kind of power.
I think you would handle it well. That maybe because you're not interested in it.
I genuinely just think we need to show this to Eleanor. We need to talk to her. We need to figure out what's going on. And we need to figure out why there is dissent in the ranks the way there is in the marriage. Not ranks.
There's dissents in marriages all the time. What can I say?
Well.
Amelia?
But I don't really have a comment. I was just following along. But I would like to have the chance to study this engine some more before we go. It's has a very interesting mechanism.
I mean,
I'm going to see if I can take a quick sleep and consult with the Oracle. She might have some news for us.
Sure.
Since you seem to have the same level of... Jesus, dogs. Since you seem to have the same level of clearance that I do, I'm trying to give you permission to look at this engine. But
Get out of the engine room. Who let these dogs on board?
dogs they have decided it's playtime.
Oh, the Velociraptors. They're free. Wonderful.
Excellent.
Okay, yeah, so yeah, you have permission to look at the engine from Scarlet since you seem to have the level of clearance that allows you to kind of know about these things. Also, Scarlet wants to know more. So Scarlet I just request that you report whatever you find.
Oh, I'm not interested in keeping technological secrets. I think knowledge should be shared.
Some knowledge. Some. But once again, in the wrong hands, bad things can happen. All right. And then Scarlet is gonna try to kind of go back through their documents and their files and figure out where, when, what pattern or what could have caused FDR to go rogue like this. And start doing some more research.
Okay, that sounds like a lore roll. Yeah.
I'm not very good at this. Can I do a sick flip?
Can you do a what? Oh, flip.
A piece of paper and you just do a backflip while you're reading it.
As funny as that is, no.
Darn.
No, you paste the documents on a wall and throw knives at it.
No hardcore parkour research. I'm gonna push my luck
Ooh.
because I haven't used any in a minute. I think I cleared my luck last time. Is that it? Haha! I got 1 6 on the luck dice.
So you really don't know, do you?
I got a 6 on my luck dice.
Oh, you got a 6 on. I missed that part. Okay. Awesome. Well, that's what luck is for. Yeah. So you're going through the files and normally you would have gone through and not found anything, but then you happen to see this note in the margin on one piece of paper. And the note is circling a well, let's see, what would it be? Let's say it's a budget item that's supposed to be used for sort of the more clandestine military efforts. And the budget item is it has a little question mark and says, "Is this Eleanor's?" And it's in FDR's writing. So you deduce from this just margin writing that he until very recently didn't know about Ellie's angels until he stumbled upon this budget item and presumably had to talk to her.
Oh, so he knows she has an paramour, but not that she has a secret underground organization. Cool.
Right. Yeah. So you put those pieces together based on some of these notes that he had on what was otherwise a pretty mundane document.
Oh. That's interesting. So she's making note of that.
Yeah, so there's, it's not all happiness and joy in that. Well, I mean, you knew that, but with this couple, but it's sort of a political marriage.
Yeah.
So Amelia's going into the engine room.
Yeah, but I was hoping to bring Barry with me. I mean, we have kind of like an autopilot going right now, right?
Well, no, it's not. You have not taken flight yet. You're still in the desert.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I thought we were sort of
no. It's an important point to make because, well, first of all, you all need to rest, and secondly, some things may happen if you take flight.
If Scarlett sees you going with Barry, Scarlett's going to be like, "Hey, there's a lot Barry doesn't know yet that he's not ready to know yet."
Well, I imagine Barry can be the arbiter of that.
There's a time and place to learn things. It is not in his clearance to know about this yet.
I mean, it's his ship.
As much as it's anyone's.
Barry, do you want to check out the engine room with me?
I like to imagine Barry was in the engine room and he doesn't hear Scarlett say those things.
Okay.
No. Yeah. Scarlett is very much not.
Okay.
Making this very discreet about like, hey, this is at Eleanor's discretion. There's a reason he doesn't know this stuff yet. He'll get there. As my dog throws his toy around.
we cut to Barry in the engine room just having a fit.
Bang, bang.
Why won't she talk to me?
So then I'm just gonna sort of nod at what Scarlett says and then shrug. Like, Amelia's just been working by herself for a long, like maybe too long. And it's like, well, okay, I'm headed for the engine room. You'll know where to find me.
Barry's in there hitting things with a
Yeah.
wrench, or
No, I was trying to justify our ambience.
Yeah.
I think you find Barry, he's in the engine room. I think there's just lamps illuminating the inside, and you find Barry examining the wall and tracing the lines and the paintings and the various pictures that you see on the wall.
Yeah, Barry, I was interested in these too. Have you gleaned anything so far?
Every place that I've been while I've been pilot is represented here. And I can only assume that every place that my father has been before me is here as well, which is why it's so troubling to find that so many of these places relate to an underworld, an afterlife.
Well, my theory is that it may be less cosmological and more ancient people finding a way to explain something that was truly baffling. And if there's a pathway between planes of existence, I mean, it is hard to separate that from the concept of a supernatural. I find I even struggle with that myself, but I hope you're not dismayed by that, because I think there's an explanation.
I only know that my father is missing. And for the last decade of my life, I've dedicated myself to the service of this company to one day know what happened. I'm beginning to fear that I was naive. I don't think they can tell me, and I don't think they will, even if they knew. There's so much that I haven't known until today. What this thing is, what my father has flown all these years, and why. I apologize. I am beside myself. I shall compose myself and attend to my duties as the owner, as the pilot. Barry is just going to be silent for a moment.
Emil looks a little bit awkward. But I hope you're not apologizing for my sake. You don't owe me an apology. And for what it's worth, Barry, the definition of naivete is lack of experience, which means it's very easy to dispel naivete by applying one's experience. This doesn't have to be a permanent state or a curse. It's one step to another. I did not think anyone from outer space had visited our planet until last year. I was wrong. I don't think that makes me a fool.
You believe beings from outer space have been here?
Well, they directly interceded in my crash and subsequent disappearance, and rescued me and sent me on my way with my souvenir, I suppose. And they were not at all human, I can tell you that much.
Your weapon?
Yes.
There was a time when hearing such things would have caused me to simply laugh at you.
I know exactly what you mean. I would have had the same reaction.
It's so funny. You're one of my heroes. was inspired to become a pilot when I read stories about you. And to hear that you've encountered beings from other worlds, I feel that we have more in common than I thought.
Well, I hope we do, and I'm frankly, I'm flattered that was inspiration to be had. But I mention it mainly in that we are in the same situation. I don't have any sort of inherent benefit or gift above and beyond what you have, and we can explore this together on equal footing.
I should very much like that.
Well, outstanding. Now,
Doctor, should anything happen to me, can I trust her to your care?
Oh, it would be my honor to take this ship into my care. I don't think that will ever have to be the case, but I mean, with any luck, we may even discover that it has some desires of its own.
I believe there is something to that.
If we can discover a means of communicating with it or communing or something, that would be very exciting to me personally.
I've begun to wonder if perhaps the painted lady is not so much an object, but a spirit, a promise made manifest, a salvation, a safety for those who need it.
It may be.
Perhaps together we will unlock this mystery.
All right. Well, let's get to work.
Yes.
So, Chris, I'm thinking this, the light trick I was doing with the ray gun before may be suitable for in here as well, with all the like stuff on the wall and trying to, decipher or reveal or, whatever it is. And also, I don't remember how much I had said this specifically. I think I talked to Chris about it a little bit. Is it like in my imagining of what Amelia has been through, the beings that she met, they did not have perfect communication. They like communicated quite a bit, but it wasn't perfect. And they're like, here you go. Here's this device to help you on your way as a gift. But she doesn't 100% understand how it works. There's just a number of settings that she just kind of figured out and, keep exploring it to see. Does that sound right, Chris? That kind of vibe with the device?
Yeah. Sort of like an alien multi-tool.
Yeah.
I think this will be
sort of a photonic wrench, something like that. It's a wild idea, but
yeah, like a screwdriver or something.
Well, that doesn't make any sense.
Let's do wit and savvy.
Oh yeah, I can do that. Right, rolling dice. That's the thing we do. All right, so that's 7 dice for me. Let's see. And what am I trying to get 6s?
Yes.
Oh, geez. My app closed. Why? Why did you do that? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, 3 6s.
Okay. All right.
I think I learned something.
Yeah. I'm going to even push it further than what you would have. All right. So I don't know how she would interpret this, but this is it's not only a map of locations, it's also a console.
Oh.
For operating the vehicle, perhaps to go to these locations.
Okay.
and you kind of know how it works.
Okay. Does it want you to, is it like a sort of touch interface or?
I think so. That's kind of what I had in mind. I think you would just need, you can see that there are imprints where a hand would go.
Oh yeah.
And it's almost like picking it up like sort of as an infrared output, not infrared,
Yeah,
but like
but there's some like residue of like how people have operated this in the past. And,
right.
Yeah.
Right. And it's and you don't know about the, I guess, the metaphysics of this, but you can kind of deduce that there's at least a metaphor of the river Styx that is connecting all of these underworlds. And you kind of come to the conclusion that this craft can somehow navigate that otherworldly river in order to reach these destinations.
Okay. And I'm kind of narrating along this with Barry. I'm like, oh no, look at this. What do you think of this bit? And oh, Chris, could part of the discovery be that the, like all these drawings and things are like 0.5 millimeter off of the surface of the metal?
Ooh.
Like it looked like it was drawn on there, but it's actually like
They're
just
like
the
embossed a
tiniest
little
bit,
bit.
and the super bright light revealed that.
Yeah, you can like cast shadows
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. I like that.
Okay, cool. And that's kind of how you interact with it, because it's actually an interactive surface that none of us would have had any experience with. Like, what do you mean you just slide, pinch and zoom?
And this is something that Scarlet knew already, but Barry did not.
Yeah.
What does Amelia say roughly, or how does she share any of what she discovered?
Yeah, so I think her explanation is along the lines of, right, so if we can see this, it's an interface that should allow us to navigate a river as an example of how to explain it. I don't think it's a two-dimensional
Santa Claus
floating. I'm sorry, what?
Santa Claus. He told me there are streams, there are unseen rivers that one might navigate.
Sorry, could we back up 1 second? You met a person called Santa Claus?
I don't believe that's how he referred to himself, but he seems to me to be the very same Saint Nicholas that we all celebrate each year. He had a crashed vehicle. We were in the hidden valley. There was a ranch nearby, and we encountered large snakes, and they were attacking my dirigible, and we fended off a giant lizard-like snake. And there was another man, Kansas Jack, I believe. Yes, and his pants became dynamite. We had to remove his pants and foist them high into the air. He was a pantsless man. And oh yes, Mr. Nicholas explained to me how he is able to travel so quickly across the world was through these streams, these rivers. It seemed he made mention specifically of river and stream. It's the same feeling I have when it happens.
This is a lot to take in, but if I can extrapolate my theory based on that, I think like Amelia is a little.
Shall I start from the beginning?
Sweaty.
I'll recount.
Because she no longer can just dismiss a wild notion, but this is like stretching her ability to, do this. So I think she looks like she just ate something too spicy, It's like, I'm a scientist. Like I'm gonna fit these pieces together. So if this operates on the principle that it is similar to what our the visitors who rescued me operate on, then there would be a dilation, a stretching of how one experiences the passage of time, and
yes,
that would theoretically allow a once a year visitor to every child in the world to traverse that distance without crossing the intervening time. So space without time. Oh, okay. I think we're nearly there.
That's exactly how it feels when it often happens. I know exactly where I must go, and then all goes dark. And I feel as though I've been away for both an eternity and but a mere moment. And then we arrive
Well,
as intended.
Is
is it
this a
an
good time for
unpleasant?
Scarlett to kind of jump in and see what's that maybe too much has been revealed, just to amp the drama, not to interrupt, but
Oh yeah, I was wondering when I could do a smooth interruption.
Smooth interrupter.
in the meantime, Livy's dreaming some amazing things.
Yep. Yeah, because Scarlett kind of just you hear a little knock knock. She's been standing there for a minute. Like she's been there for a minute. She heard the Saint Nick stuff. And then you hear a little tinny just like knock on the engine room door.
Oh, Scarlett, this is incredible.
I'm aware.
Come look at how this works. I can explain some of it at least.
I know how it works. Hi. Barry, that's a fun little story there you recounted with the dinosaurs in St. Nick.
Yes, it's similar to the story you told Anton when he asked why he was in a balloon. If I remember correctly, you told him he bumped his head.
Mm-hmm. He may have. It's not a complete lie.
He did not.
We don't know what was happening before we got on the ship. But as you'll recall during that story, what were we flying in?
The very same vessel we're standing in now. Something
What did
you
it
knew.
look like?
Something you knew about the entire time.
Yes.
And never mentioned to me.
Wasn't your time to know, and still isn't.
Well,
I shall be in the cockpit when you're ready.
Well, hold on, Barry. Scarlett, I think, not to belabor the metaphor, but the train has left the station. Barry is a pilot and is somebody who is intricately tied to the workings of this vehicle. I certainly understand not revealing things to the general public. That's a complicated and delicate matter that I'm certainly not equipped for. But Barry is a part of this operation. You can't simply, this may be one of the limiting factors to understanding why the equation isn't complete, is that Barry is a component of this.
Yes. And we wanted to understand that component before we just sprung all of this on Barry and gave him a responsibility he may not have needed yet.
If that is what Miss Director believes, then I am not ready.
I do not want... as you know, your father's gone missing. This is a very dangerous ship to be connected to. It's a very dangerous mission to undertake with this ship.
Something I've made peace with every single time we depart on a mission.
There's a difference between the missions and there's a difference between what this ship actually means. And honestly, we wanted to understand it better before we went, hey, Barry, here's this really weird piece of technology that leads to weird disappearances and terrible things. So sue us for not, being ready to tell you everything before we understood it ourselves.
You misunderstand, Miss Director. I don't blame you. I understand why you couldn't tell me. You're loyal. You're the most loyal and dedicated soldier and operative I've ever had the pleasure to work for. I have no animosity to you. I'm just simply realizing that I can no longer trust. Pardon me, ma'am. I will make the cockpit ready for when we have decided where we would like to go.
Barry, just remember that trust is having faith in those to do what's best. And at the end of the day, you did not misplace your trust in me or Eleanor.
I believe you'll have to let me make that decision now, ma'am.
Okay, but just remember, leaders don't always tell you everything.
Yes, that is very clear.
Someone slams her hand on the side of like the door frame to the room and says, "We have to save the Roosevelt's marriage."
And then suddenly, I get purple hair and you're Poe Dameron. What?
I slept. I'm so glad you're all awake. I slept. I consulted with the Oracle. She, with her mellifluous, beautiful blonde hair, stepped aside and introduced me to 3 young men. All of the men were named Jonas. It was strange. And what happened as it transpired...
Were they related?
What I don't know. What happened as it transpired was that one told only the truth, one told only lies, and the other only said the word Kevin. I didn't entirely understand it. Anyway, they imparted upon me the following message, which I was instructed by the Oracle to tell everyone all at once. It could mean many things, but I take it to mean that we should save the Roosevelt's marriage. Standing out in the rain, knowing that it's really over. Please don't leave me alone. I'm flooded with all this pain, knowing that I'll never hold you like I did before the storm. Think about it. Think about it. This whole global conflict, a storm. The Roosevelts fighting at odds. We have to save their marriage to save the world.
Our future depends on it.
Yes.
Amelia, Scarlett kind of looks at Amelia like, she's just like this. I don't know.
Well, actually, the biggest part of my concern is that the Roosevelts may not need a romantic component to their marriage. But I mean, if we're talking about
no, that's fine. But they are clearly
partnership. Then
I think yes, I think they were on the same side at one time, and now they are no longer on the same side.
Okay,
they don't.
I'm with you now, because otherwise, asking, well, right.
And if they want to do kisses and stuff, who am I to stop them?
They don't.
I know, but I'm very good at what I do, which is marriage counseling.
Before encountering the wisdom of the Oracle, I never thought a Plymouth could fly off of a cliff and onto an airship.
Now,
I know better than to question her reasoning.
On the one hand,
I mean, I don't disagree, because I do think we should tell Eleanor and get them on the same page again. They need to be on the same page.
Does everybody agree with Libby's interpretation of the prophecy?
Honestly, I forgot what the words were. So yeah.
Well, I'm so glad you said that, because I can repeat them for you. Standing out in the rain, knowing that it's really over. Please don't leave me alone. I'm flooded with all this pain, knowing that I'll never hold you like I did before the storm. The storm seems the operative word here.
Now, there are, yes, those are 3 aquatic water-based metaphors of rain, a storm, and the other thing.
I think rain and a storm kind
flood.
of go hand in hand.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. Now, I don't know whether it was the Jonas that spoke only the truth or the Jonas that spoke only lies who told me this. I can tell you it's not the Jonas who only said Kevin. Well,
I only mention it because Barry and I have just discovered that the core mechanism of how this vehicle works is by traversing a metaphorical river, not a literal body of water, but a river of metaphor, maybe. I don't know what it's made of, but...
no, every place on here in this room is real.
Oh.
I will give you that much.
What is this Legoland?
So, out of character, where did Legoland come from?
Was
that part of the prophecy?
I'm just trolling. I'm just trolling
okay.
right now.
I think that one is it's a distant land of blocks, and I think they build things. I'm not entirely sure how it works.
A land of builders.
Well, that sounds
and
fascinating.
Makers, yes.
I have not been myself, so I can't tell you for sure, but I believe there is these bricks that are a very sturdy material called Lego, and I hear they can hurt very badly if you
I
step on one.
feel as though that's a
Oh.
place my father would have wanted to take me, but never did. But he went himself.
So Scarlett is saying that these metaphorical ancient afterlives are real.
I thought that was a true.
Yeah, that's what you discovered when you.
Yeah, I thought that was a true statement about that.
Yeah, that was true.
So yes, at this point, yeah, she's still a little annoyed, but she's like, no, all of these places are real, Amelia. They are not metaphors.
Oh, well,
But rivers do come up a lot.
Do you think this is connected to how I'm in contact with the Oracle?
At this point, who's to say?
I think it may be, depending on how you picture this oracular experience,
Yes.
because the mechanism by which this vehicle travels, it disconnects from its passage through time to pass through space, and it if your messages are bleeding through from a disconnected thread of future possibility, then that may the very weight of their importance may be what drew them to you.
I got hung up on how I picture the oracular experience. Would you like to hear more about that?
Yes.
Picture it, a bare stage, a spotlight shining down from the ceiling. There's a beautiful woman clutching a guitar. She has blonde hair. She's very tall. The only woman whose beauty rivals her is that of Elizabeth Scarsdale, who steps into the room. The entirety of Earth and existence pauses and focuses on these two women as they look at each other. The oracle goes as if to speak. She clutches her guitar. She plays 3 simple chords. She begins to sing. Libby climbs onto the stage, circles her. They look at each other. They take each other in. They understand each other. And then, like that, the darkness. And that's when I wake up.
Well, it's not unlike how Barry explained his experience.
Yes, there's a brief darkness in which I feel I am both eternal and momentary. It is an enrapturing experience. One I don't ever want to stop, but I also fear entering.
Libby, do you have, honestly, I've never asked you this. Do you have a connection to an artifact of any kind?
Not that I know of. I mean, I'm sure that my good friend Emily St. James could perhaps spin something up in the moment, but not that I know of.
I want to tell me if this is too metagamey or I'm making something up that doesn't exist. I'm drawing a connection to, and maybe Scarlett would know this, that these weird temporal experiences are connected to artifacts. And if you have a deep connection to one, that is why you can experience these things. But
yes,
if that's
if you want to,
right.
because we're not playing a different system that I made, let's do a luck. Roll a luck and see if this is true or not.
How I just thought of a thing that so I just roll 1d6.
Well, no, actually one. I keep on wanting to call everybody Amelia.
Everybody.
So Scarlett, it's just Scarlett's luck.
Is there a little bit of Amelia in all of us?
So this is Scarlett's roll, but you're rolling luck, which is just you got a 4. Okay, all right. So that means something unlucky happens. Your luck tracker is cleared out. And I'm going to tell you what happens, and you can tell me what catch you take. So as the luck you were trying to say was that you have to be tied to an artifact. You were probably tied to an artifact if you have these temporal problems.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to go ahead and make that true.
Oh, cool.
But the problem is that let's see. I think like Barry, you have something over Libby. So yet another secret with our spy master. And let's see, it's I'm trying to think what it would be. Oh, the paper itself is a front.
My goodness.
And it doesn't actually exist, but it houses several artifacts.
That explains Stanley.
It's like
Yeah,
a Warehouse 13 kind of thing.
Yeah, right. And so like Livy, and yeah, explains why Stanley's at every location you need him to be. Explains why there's a bureau everywhere they need to go. Why they have unlimited resources. The whole thing's a front. But Livy doesn't know this. But she has been involved so much into this front that it could have been any number of artifacts that caused this.
May I propose a hypothesis of what might have happened?
Sure. Let's hear it. I'm curious.
So my name wasn't always Libby Scarsdale. There was a time when my name was Beth Horton, and I came from the town of Ankeny, Iowa, which is perhaps a named town that some of you here may be aware of. Once, while on a trip visiting a local university to decide if I wanted to go there for college, I stumbled upon a dusty door in the basement of the library. I stepped inside, and there a tall man dressed in a cloak and a hat with a long beard said to me, "Look, take, read." What I found was a folio full of several unpublished plays by Mr. William Shakespeare. I read all of them. So, and an eye opened up in the middle of my head, and I said, I can see everything, and I must name myself Libby Scarsdale. Anyway, that's what happened. I don't know if I just said all of this out loud.
I'm not sure what the experience was, and maybe that's what it looked like to you. And you can roll luck to make it true. But the adjudication of Scarlett's roll, the you're asking that was really just to see if she has honed into this secret or not.
Yes. Well,
and you kind of think that she might be getting close to it. So I guess there's a catch here, and you'll need to determine what you want to do with that, how it makes you feel.
Yeah, I'll take a catch.
Oh no, this is Scarlett's catch.
I have to take a catch. Trying to think of which one of these kind of makes sense. I'm kind of between off guard and emotional, because like maybe it caught me off guard that I was a little caught off guard when asking the question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can do off guard or emotional, and like maybe in so doing you've revealed too much.
Yeah, because I realized that I said that was the wrong question. That was not. I'm slipping a little bit. So yeah, I think I'm off guard.
That's a good adjudication. Okay, we'll go with that. And in terms of the third eye opening, and now everything is meta, and you know about Emily and everything else. Let's just keep that headcanon for now and see if it reveals itself to be true later.
Okay. I do want to have a private word with Scarlett before I can't get her out of my brain before we retire for the evening.
Yeah. So
by the way, as you're retiring for the evening and you're having these final conversations for the evening, the wind is picking up. There's some sort of physical real storm brewing in the distance.
So Scarlett is going to just kind of look at everyone in the engine room and be like, all right, I think we've had enough excitement for the one day. And I'm just going to let everyone here know, messing with these artifacts has unforeseen consequences. So be careful. Looking at Amelia, looking at Barry, looking at everyone like. And I think we should get on our way to London. That marriage.
If there's one thing I never do, it's mess with artifacts. It's not a thing I've ever done before. I respect them. I take them seriously, and I don't do things like that. Now, Scarlett, if I could have a word with you in private.
Well, real quick, before you step away, we could go to London, but given the nature of the ship and the urgency with which we need to speak with Eleanor again, perhaps we should just go directly to a meeting place with her.
Is she not meeting us in London?
Well, Chris, what were my orders? I thought it was
bring
like
them to
London
London.
Get transit home or something, right?
Yeah, it was bring them to London. You're supposed to pick up the paint, make sure they had the painted lady, and bring them to London.
Let's bring her to this. Let's bring her to this.
If I recall
leg land.
right.
I know that Eleanor loves a good pair of legs. Let's bring her to leg land, and we can look at her. We can perhaps chat with her there.
Also, based on the ship and the way it is, like it can take you anywhere, but my thought was you at least need to know where that person is or where that thing is.
Well, you're not really allowed to use it that way. You know, it's I guess if there's an extreme reason, but like jet setting, probably not
Scarlet is
allowed.
like, I'm under the impression that Eleanor is in London and that is where she'll be meeting us. So tell me if that's wrong, and then we will meet her directly wherever she is.
Well, that was the extent of my orders, was to get us to London, but that was minus a fair amount of information that I have now. So, but if we're bound for London, then we certainly should do that.
So we're going to Legland. Great.
I'll help Barry prepare.
All right. I think it's time to, retire for the night.
Scarlet, I couldn't help but note that in the message parted to me by the Brothers Three, they said the lyric, "Please don't leave me alone," which I believe is the thing you said to me that night in St. Louis before the storm. I just thought I would take note of that.
That did happen, yes.
Perhaps the Roosevelt's relationship isn't the only one that needs mending.
Are you going to apologize?
For what?
Hi.
Are you going to apologize?
Barry leans over to Amelia and just says, "This is an example of one of those conversations that often happens in my presence, in which I'm expected to believe that I'm not hearing them, and yet I cannot help but feel they often have these conversations directly in front of me, expressly so that I would have this conflict. I shall be in the cockpit."
Honestly, I think we tried to walk away, and then it just started too soon.
Yeah. Well, Barry, I thought we might prep the engine room first. If they're leaving, then maybe we can.
Yes.
I have some follow up to that conversation, but I think it's happening concurrently. You know, we'll have to do a scene split there, so I didn't want to interrupt.
So what am I apologizing for? Am I the one who ran off with someone's best friend, broke up with them, and then got married to the best friend? Am I the one who did that?
No, but you broke my heart too. Did you forget about that?
How did I break your heart? Last I checked, I'm the one whose heart was shattered into a million little pieces, and she was left to pick herself back up again.
I'm going to say 2 words to you, Penny. Beth Horton of Ankeny, Iowa. That was actually 5 words, but.
How do you know that name?
How do you know that name?
I think it's best we got some sleep.
I think you might remember that she had piercing blue eyes, and I don't know if someone else here has piercing blue eyes, but I'm going to. I'll be off to bed, I think.
Is there a last shot of Scarlet's reaction?
Scarlet is off guard, not emotional. So she's like, shit. And she kind of smiles. It's this very quick, like, oh no. And then a smile, and then composure again, and kind of just goes, good night, Libby. And then heads to her room.
Good night, Scarlet.
But Scarlet does start, because I imagine Scarlet has like a log of things that she shares only with Eleanor.
Mm-hmm.
So do we have bedrooms?
No, you have different compartments of the plane,
Yeah.
which
That's
have
out of
been,
character question.
which have
I
been.
was just like, oh, that's exciting.
It's like you know those nets that kind of keep the cargo in place. Yeah,
Right.
you can
Yeah,
like
okay.
pin up your net, you know, and then
hang a blanket over it.
right.
That's yeah.
Scarlett made like a little tent for herself because she's crafty. And
In the actual art of this plane, there is an executive room, which is Scarlett's office, I believe. So she has like an actual place that's just hers.
well, thank you. So Scarlett goes to her executive office and is like writing some like documenting this for Eleanor, and is like they know too much. We need to do something. Or like
do
we
something.
not like we need to do something like stop them from knowing, but like we need to figure out if like I think she writes like, is it time to tell that, like if this were in a movie it would like pan over and it's like, is it finally time to tell them the truth, question mark.
Ooh, is there like a code word for like, is it time for like Mockingbird, or like is there like a cool
Oh yeah, like yeah, it's like
it's gotta be mythological though. Is it time for
Styx, Operation
is
Styx?
there a
Sure.
goddess of truth or something?
Yeah, it's I think
Themis or
Mm.
Mot?
it's Aphrodite, I don't know. Athena
Protocol? That sounds
The
really
Athena
cool.
Protocol sounds good. Let's go with it.
That's the next Tom Clancy book.
Wisdom. Yeah.
Yeah, so it says like, is it, yeah, it's like Athena Protocol, question mark. Like, is it just,
Okay.
is it time to, because Scarlett doesn't really like she can hide it, but she's also like, it might be time to just kind of spill the beans.
Yeah. Train has left the station, as they say. Okay. So apart from the whistling wind that's like rattling the plane all night, you all get a good night's sleep. And you're ready to go in the morning to London, but there is this colossal sandstorm that has descended.
Sorry, I wanted to ask about before sleepy time, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So it's my understanding. I'm trying to speed through this. We could sort of shorthand the conversation, Barry. Unless you wanted to get into it. But Barry has never like intentionally caused the ship to go through the river.
Right.
It's just
it always
happened.
happens when he takes payment for in a particular way. And then kind of fell into a meditative state and didn't realize what was going on.
Okay. So what Amelia is trying to propose is like jotting down, using all that data and then looking at the, instruction manual here, the controls, and trying to intentionally create the she'll like give him something and, but we're trying to like, she's like being very transparent about what she's, she would like to intentionally make this happen with his express knowledge and, figure out how to do it on purpose.
Poor, delightful, naive, trusting baby Barry is going to produce the coin from his pocket and give it to you.
Okay. Is it a strange coin or?
Yeah, it looks like it might be an ancient Greek coin or something. Yeah, I don't know if she would speak Greek, but
could I roll lore?
Yeah.
Sweet.
This one was first given to me by my father.
Is it the only coin that will allow you to make the transit?
No, I've taken such coins before. I know that for certain,
but only this type of coin will elicit the travel.
Thus far, I don't know if it's symbolic or if it has to do with the coin, or there's just so much I don't know.
I got 1/6 out of 8 dice.
Yeah, it's an ancient Greek coin. It looks authentic, probably from, I don't know, 600 BC.
Amelia's gonna bite it if Barry doesn't stop her.
Barry's gonna but he's not gonna
sorry,
actually.
I just meant to. I'm sorry. It's your. I shouldn't just put things in my mouth. I understand.
It has on one side a ship. It's kind of like, you know, engraved on the other side is a I guess I hadn't thought this through. I was thinking maybe a yeah, let's do like I'm trying to remember Mercury in Greece. I'm trying to remember the god Hermes.
Hermes.
Hermes, thank you. Yeah, so there's a vestige of Hermes on the other side.
I see. But so you recognize this deity, yeah? From the
as you do that with a coin, Barry seems a little bit transfixed. Is there something you wish to ask of me?
Do you recognize the face on here?
I do.
Who do you recognize it as?
Who I must obey.
Huh. I'm just gonna palm it where he can't see it.
So yes, please do not put the coin into your mouth. If you'd like to strike it with an object to see if it's solid, that would be perfectly
Barry,
all right.
I believe you've just experienced something like a hypnotic event. You and I just had
No, I remember nothing.
We just had a fair amount of conversation that you're not remembering right now.
No, we discussed the Lego land. We discussed the.
And then there was a step where I asked you if you could tell me whose face was on the front of this coin that's in my hand that you handed me.
It's a delightful joke. You're not holding any coin.
Oh, Barry. Okay. I'm not a very funny person, and I'm not joking with you. Right? I'm not trying to trick
put yourself
you.
down. You're not only my hero, but you're quite delightful and charming.
That's kind of you. But understand, I am not trying to trick you. I am trying to find knowledge. And that is my primary motivation. And if we can discover this together, I think it will also empower you to be able to use this device more to your own liking.
Yes, of course.
So perhaps a measured exposure therapy, and I kind of like lift up let him see like the corner of the coin in my hand.
I think if Scarlett's on alert, I'm guessing you want to put a stop to this.
Well, aren't they off having their conversation?
Oh, is this happening at the same time as their fight? Okay, then you would be completely oblivious to what's going on.
Okay, I was like, if I can hear it, yeah, Scarlett's gonna come and be like,
no, you're
dude.
This is happening I missed that this is happening simultaneously with.
Oh, that's
your,
how I was
discussion.
picturing it. Doesn't
Yeah.
So that's totally fine. That's I
Yeah.
just if she heard it, but I do have a question. No.
Mhm.
Will my off guard catch also be cleared during this rest?
Yes, I suppose it would be.
Just making sure.
All right, why don't we do
That's a hilarious conversation, though.
to see if like exposure therapy would work.
Well, I wonder if I've been trying to figure out how to use fix this whole time.
Okay, yeah, because this is you're trying to fix Barry.
Well, I was trying to think of like, can I create a layer of something, like a particular glass that lets a frequency of light through, or something that
like you put it in like a.
Can I make a proposition of some kind? Because I think logically, if the exposure to the artifacts is part of what causes the issue, it doesn't make sense to do exposure therapy. So it might actually need to be some kind of like way to remove it. Like you need to either remove the effect or remove the artifact from in some way. Like find a way to remove that magic if you can figure out what's caused, like what frequency is causing that.
Well, I don't want to remove the magic.
No, remove the effect. Like find a way if it has like a frequency of some kind. This is me. I don't know. I am pseudosciencing entirely right now.
No, that's okay. I'm just.
If it has a frequency of some kind, maybe you can block it in some way to when Barry is looking at it.
Yeah, I mean, I totally want to like yes and that. I'm just trying to think of also like what I'm trying to accomplish as Amelia.
Yeah. No, I just think it's because we've kind of already just established that it's true that if you're around the artifacts a lot, it causes these issues because of the exposure.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, you're right. So that part wouldn't make sense.
You could try it because you wouldn't know that.
Well, y'all have been explaining some of it, and Barry told me a fair amount. Although I have to remember, not all of what Libby just said was public knowledge. That was you two stepping away.
No, and also Scarlett did not say that the artifacts exposure to the artifacts causes these issues. She just knows that.
Yeah.
And you also have to assume that the coin is the artifact. Is the coin the artifact, or is the plane the artifact? And there's a lot you don't know.
Or do they work in tandem in some way?
Right.
Or is the artifact the friends you made along the way?
Artifacts the magic we have at home.
So really what you're doing is trying to test ways to dampen the effect of the coin.
Yeah.
And so maybe it's like sticking it into a green bottle and seeing if,
trying all kinds of different things of like in a mesh or in a, if we've got like a lead container or,
well, we can use the dice to kind of determine what the relationship might be between the coin and the painted lady.
Okay.
So if you want to use fixed, that makes sense because you're doing it from a scientific method sort of point of view, right?
Okay. Let's get rid of one of these dice. That's 7. Okay. Oh my. Okay, it's 2. I thought there was 3 6s, but it's 2.
Oh, okay. All right. So
my digital dice can land on top of each other. I don't know
weird.
if it's possible to see.
Oh yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
So I have to very gently move them so it doesn't unroll it. Okay. So the effect is there is a hypnotic effect from the coin, but it's not because the coin is magical. I think you uncovered that this is probably psychosomatic. So really what you need to do is, and this is a fixed roll. So that's the one success. Another success that gives you another hero die, by the way, that you can use in the next roll. But let's take it one step further since you had more than one success. Since it's psychosomatic, then his knowledge of how to operate the aircraft is in there. You just need to unlock it somehow. Okay. I assume I think Amelia would understand the basic principles of hypnosis because she's probably at least read about it and she's a genius.
Right. Yeah, they would. By this time they were calling it hypnosis.
I think
mesmerism.
So. Mesmerism. I don't think it was. Yeah, it wasn't mesmerism anymore at this point.
Yeah.
I've actually read a lot about mesmerism for some reason. I don't know why that phenomenon grabbed my interest, but yeah.
So this is something that you can work on, but it's not artifact related. That means you don't have to waste your effort on this coin, but it also means that he does already know. You just need to unlock it somehow.
Right. So in this whole process, I've written everything down on this clipboard where I'm taking notes and I'm in turn if Barry is starting to whoop,
I think Barry is. How long do you think you've held on to the coin at this point?
Well, if it takes a couple hours or so to do all this, I would think it's getting close to midnight and we're both really tired, and it's oh my
Barry's
gosh.
Barry's gonna keep asking in various ways if there's a place you need to go, or if there's somewhere you'd like to be, or is there something you would like to ask?
And I think she keeps trying to turn it around to, where do you want to go? And that's
to my father.
Oh shit. But that's it's, I don't know Chris how far we could take that, but she's making all the notes, and then before trying to do anything specific, she's gonna make sure Barry is fully back, maybe put it in his own hand, which it seemed like that was when he most had it together, and try to illustrate exactly what she wants to do, which is go on a hypnotic adventure in his brain and try to flip some switches, because the brain's just a complicated machine and she understands how machines work. How hard could it be? She does have a photonic wrench after all, so that's
So I guess the question, since it was a fixed roll, you figured out what the problem was, and now we're going to fix it. I guess I need to figure out how to adjudicate this. We've already succeeded. They just need to play it out through the meditation or through the
Well, I
hypnosis.
also want to make sure that Joe and Barry are fine with like she's not going to try to change Barry without his permission. Like that's
yeah. I don't know. I think Barry might discover stuff, and I don't know what that is because Barry doesn't know. So I'm open to let's play, and we'll have open safety as always. Yeah. But so far I'm in. I have buy-in.
Okay. And Barry's like, I think we should probably do a hypnosis about it.
I think Barry doesn't know what you're doing, but there's something about just he's comfortable with you, and he doesn't feel like you're a threat.
Yeah, I mean, and she's genuinely not trying to hurt Barry. Like that's
right.
Yeah. So she does a kind of minor hypnosis just to kind of walk him through it, and then in the questions are leading questions mostly about operating the aircraft, right?
Yeah.
So at one point during the hypnosis, the memories all come back. And Barry's father, who was part of the same group generation before you, had taught you at a young age how to operate this aircraft, but then used hypnosis to get you locked out of it, and used the coin as the key, and told you that when you were ready, it would be unlocked. But for his safety, for your safety, we have to keep you under. And it wasn't very much longer after that he disappeared. And the reason he tells you, it's kind of Ant-Man-y, if you will, but the reason he tells you is that because you can get lost out there. And so he really didn't want you using it unless you had to, but he didn't want to deprive you of using it. So this was his way, and it was all coordinated through Eleanor Roosevelt, and it was kind of an official mission.
Also, Aunt Manny being my favorite sequel to Aunt Nanny was just sorry.
But that was let's say that was the Athena protocol, was, when do we let the pilot be consciously aware of what's going on? And it was a safety measure put forward by your father, not by Eleanor Roosevelt. So that's why it's a little sensitive,
Which I think like Scarlett didn't want to tell him that part because she felt bad about that part. She'd rather you blame her or Eleanor for it than your dad.
Yeah. And Athena protocol. Now you have the wisdom. Now you know consciously how to operate this thing.
And this doesn't have to be true, but Barry's going to say, I know how to find my father.
Yeah, he's lost in the river somewhere. You have to go on a quantum journey.
I believe we have solved a great portion of this mystery, Doctor. And I have an apology that I must speak to Miss Director.
For what?
I know why I have been protected from myself, from my father's fate. He before he disappeared, he made sure that I wouldn't become lost as he did. This object, this entity, one can get lost easily, without control, without discipline, without so many things. He was trying to protect me.
I'm sorry you had to go through that. I hope I hope you don't regret.
Barry is going to, and you can please X this if that's not comfortable, but Barry's going to just pull you in for a hug.
Oh,
he's going to make that action.
Yeah, I think Amelia is a little awkward. She's not unwilling. She's just like, oh, right, human. Like, I know how to be a human. This is fine. I think she's just not like touchy-feely, but is not opposed to it. So she hugs like, yes, I know how to do this.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I don't feel like I did a lot, and actually I'm worried that I have caused you injury of a Promethean nature, but I hope that maybe in the balance it'll be for the best.
This changes everything in the best of ways.
Well,
Thank you.
What are we going to do about the sandstorm that y'all wake up to? It's a quick cut.
At this point, we all know the painted lady can get out of it.
Yeah, you know how to navigate now. The sandstorm is, if you were to fly the painted lady traditionally, you would not be able to get off the ground.
Right.
So
Barry is going to, firstly, he's going to make a stop over at Miss Scarlett's compartment. And just he's actually going to bow his head and not make eye contact just yet, but he will say, "I'm sorry I ever doubted you. I understand what you did and how many times you've had to do what you continue to do. I also understand the reasons why you hid it from me."
I appreciate the apology. Should I be concerned as to what's just happened?
I know what my father did.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna have to make note of that. This was not. There was a plan of when this was gonna happen, but okay. I'm going to have to let Eleanor know that this has happened. And I am sorry, but your father genuinely did not want us to tell you.
Thank you for honoring his wish.
We do what we can. But since you know this, that means you know how to get us out of the sandstorm.
Good morning, everyone.
Which brings me to a request that may seem odd, but I must request that you all blindfold yourselves and be secured in a compartment while the transition happens.
Barry.
Safe to say Scarlet doesn't have to.
Barry.
That's a good question. I guess we're going to have to figure that out.
If you make me blindfold myself, I'm going to comment on the card that I didn't appreciate that.
We are about to traverse something you were not meant to see with your eyes, which is why we often forget or misremember the many times the lady has taken us from one place to another. It may be best that you shield yourselves so that you not have to tax yourself so, but we'll leave that to your discretion.
Dr. Ear, what do you think?
Well, I was going to say, out of respect for Barry, if you insist, Barry, I will blindfold myself, but I object on the grounds of being able to make incredible scientific observation, and I am willing to do so with the full knowledge that I may have my brain melt out of my ears, and I'm willing to take that risk.
In the past, this has been facilitated by moments of passion and desperation. This is the first time I will be attempting this simply on skill.
Yeah, this could be another luck roll, but I mean, this can be another luck roll. I guess
you want to introduce a truth. Unfortunately, my other game allows you to do this, but not this game. So let's call it luck.
I am curious if Scarlet has done this journey before without.
Yeah. If we have to roll luck for that, I can't make that determination.
Okay, that's why I'm asking, because I'm like,
yeah,
it would make sense to me if she's tested it out before, but like, I don't want to just assume.
Yeah, let's let the dice tell us. But I'll still give it to you, but maybe with a consequence.
I think that's fair.
And Chris, I was gonna posit that Amelia has experienced this inside the inhuman vest. I don't want to say alien because I don't necessarily want to make that true. I don't need it to be, but like inside the vessel, couldn't see out and didn't necessarily know that it was happening. something.
But
I don't know if
that
it
yeah,
operates
that
on
they
a
were
similar
doing
principle.
it, but you hadn't observed it. I think that could be true.
Okay.
What is that?
I rolled a 2.
Okay. All
Oopsie.
right. So you did witness it, but you suffered some trauma for it.
That's fair.
And it's like one of those things like the universe is infinite and you are a microbe on top of a microbe kind of moments. And it just like it didn't break you, but man, it took some time to get back from that.
Okay. So I'm
So but your recollection of it was that moment in 2001 when he's going through the vortex and just saying, my God, I see stars. That's
I've
sort of
actually never seen that movie.
okay. Well, that's basically what happens.
Well, when she drops in contact.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
They should have sent a poet.
You don't need to see the movie, by
That
the way,
movie either.
but that's basically what happens. And it's just it's just so beyond reckoning that it just took some time to recover. So that you'll be in a poor mental state.
Okay, so I marked emotional as my catch.
Okay. Yeah, because you don't know if you want to go through that again, but you also don't know if you want to be blindfolded.
Yeah, so Scarlet Scarlet decides to just go, I recommend the blindfold personally. Yeah, I recommend the blindfold to all of you. But Scarlet doesn't really want to be blindfolded, but doesn't want to go through it again. So she's trying to stay composed because she's the director. So she's
You can't
For
let
you
them see you
two.
sweat.
I have-
recommend wearing the blindfold. It will be for the better of your own health, and we need you in tip-top shape when we face Eleanor.
I have a duty to my readers of the Bergen County Record to tell them about the strange sights I've seen in the seams between realities.
You'll
if
feel
there-
enough.
If there are other reasons you're concerned about me losing my mind, you could speak up and share those at this moment.
You won't be able to do your job if you lose your mind.
Hmm,
Either job to your readers or to Eleanor.
Chris, it's such a wild stretch that she would want to write that in the Bergen County Record as the primary place. Is there
Oh, yeah,
a
this has
role I
been-
could make to
Like, what's going on here?
begin to glean that this reporter thing is a little bit of a cover? I know she also works for Eleanor, but the news agency being a front kind of thing.
Honestly, I love the fact that Scarlet has been able to keep up that the Bergen County Record isn't real this long.
Yeah. Just by
County
playing into
Record's
it.
real. We put out a
But I
newspaper
feel
every day.
this could be the tip of the iceberg moment of, wait a minute.
I
I've
think that's
never read the Bergen County Record.
why is this New Jersey paper have bureaus all over the world? So that would, I guess, Wit and Savvy.
Okay. I've got some dice in that.
And Stanley.
Oh,
Is that all of them?
bastards. No, 7 dice and not a 6.
You can push your luck if you like.
Oh yeah. How does that work again?
You just mark a luck and then you add 1 die to the pool. That's a luck die.
Okay.
And if the luck die rolls a 1, then you're out of luck and something in a catch happens.
Okay.
This
Also-
absolutely
And
is
that luck
the-
die you carry on all your rolls.
Unbelievable.
Mm.
I have 5 5s, a 2, a 4, and guess what the luck die is?
A 1.
A 1.
All right.
Well,
So far I've been
Absolute trash.
leaning into the true, but it's like there's a catch, so I'm going to keep doing that. You're like, you realize not only is this a front, but you've put 2 and 2 together on some things that Eleanor have told you, and you now realize that this is the department that Eleanor has funneled millions of dollars into, and probably has more of a political influence than nation states.
Right.
And you put that 2 and 2 together and you realize that, and so you need to take a catch with that information.
Yeah, I think off guard feels like the right. Because she doesn't she's not surprised by things very often, and that this is
This is the episode where we PvP each other with emotional damage.
I love it. I love it.
It was a TikTok song.
Right. So this is like, yeah, the Department of Defense, has a comparable budget, and I can't believe that it's under the auspices of this New Jersey newspaper. But that's how Eleanor runs her.
That's why it works.
That's how she runs the world. That's how she does it.
Through the Bergen County Record.
Yeah.
I love it.
So
Also, is Stanley a clone? Is there just like many Stanleys?
He makes so much
we'll
more
uncover
sense
some
now.
truths about Stanley, I'm sure.
Now he's a
But there's some more pressing-
co-located extra-dimensional being.
There's some more pressing problems, though.
Yes. So
This is the liberal media. It's the Roosevelts literally control the papers.
Right.
So yeah, Scarlet is very firmly suggesting blindfolds.
Yeah,
Forever.
yeah. If you're preparing by putting on blindfolds or setting up the plane for it, you first of all, you still have your prisoner, who is asleep, I guess, still in the raptor cage.
Someone put a bag. All right, yeah. So Scarlet is going to go grab like a bag and put that over his head because she doesn't want him to lose his mind either.
Yeah.
We need him.
Yeah, he needs to testify.
There's sort of a tremor in the ground. Just
Oh,
I suggest we make haste, either with or without blindfold. I believe I must begin our preparation now. I will be in the cockpit.
is there a co-pilot seat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Very
I'm
good
gonna
blindfold.
I'm gonna head to the co-pilot seat.
outside, you can see the sandstorm, obviously, and the tremors are repeating one after another. And as you're getting prepped to go, you see an enormous moving shadow in the sand, in the storm, probably 3 stories high. It looks like a figure, like a person walking through the sand.
I think we should leave right away, Barry.
Yep.
It's like each step there's a tremor.
Well, if it isn't my
very-
ex-girlfriend.
Barry
40-foot
begins.
woman.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I'm not entirely sure.
And you're still preparing, but the scene is still unfolding as you're trying to, I don't know what, you're flipping switches, going to the engine room console to chart
As
the
they're
course.
going though, Barry, like Scarlet pulls Barry and is like, make sure Amelia is okay through this. And then grabs a blindfold for herself and hands one to Libby and is like, put this on.
Libby puts on the blindfold as she's just being like, yes, in the late 20s, I dated a woman named Vivian. She happened to come across a bunch of growth serum. Anyway.
Yeah, so Scarlet is going to blindfold herself because she also realizes the best move is for her to be in her right mind as well.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So your
Okay.
response to what's happening is to get the hell out.
Yeah, we're going. We have to go.
All right. You're prepping and kind of get back into the front and to take the controls. And now there is a mass of people coming through the sand. And many of them are in different stages of decay. But they all look like undead bodies marching through the sand, and you can see some of them look really, really old and skeletal and mummified. Some of them look pretty new and fresh. And at the head of that, coming through the sandstorm, is Stewart, who is
Mr. Metcalf.
leading the charge of this apparently undead army with a giant titan from behind. We can't really see the features of the titan, but you're starting to make out the silhouette of a giant jackal head.
Can I see this before I put my blindfold on?
Well, you're hearing stuff, so if you want to take off the blindfold, you're like, what's
Yeah,
going on up there?
Yeah, no, I guess Scarlet is going to go before. She's going to say, okay, what the hell is going on? And then
Mr. Metcalf. He's out there with
Does-
those things.
Do we need to face this threat head on, or is it something we could circle around back to? I don't like being in the middle of it.
Is he dead looking?
Yeah, it looks like he's been bludgeoned. And it also looks like he is leading the charge of these. And it's not the first time you've seen undead, but you've never really seen an undead army. And this is definitely what that is. And it seems like he's at the head. If he's not leading it, he's at the head of it.
Hey, Libby.
Yes.
What was that thing you said to unraise the dead?
Oh, yes. Utterance 80. Oh, gosh. I've forgotten.
Was it 82?
I think it was 82. I just know it off the top of my head if you'd like me to give it a shot.
Yeah. Do you have like a mic comm system that we can use? You can do external microphone.
Oh my, I could create a resonant frequency in the panels on the outside of the ship.
Sure, do that.
Did I hear giant jackal head? I think it might be Vivian, honestly. We should check.
Also, remember after set, I off the top of my head don't remember who has the jackal.
Toth.
So Scarlet is like, do you remember which Egyptian god has the jackal head and use that name? Because I remember the set that we had to use set.
It's Anubis.
Thank you. Scarlet is low-key panicking.
I feel
trying to keep it together.
I feel like Amelia can have that knowledge that I also have.
Yes. Yes, the Anubis who guides souls to the afterlife.
Yep.
Among other things.
All right. Okay, here we go. It is Anubis who has come with it. Unmuting myself because I forgot it. It is Anubis who came with it. He has come out carrying the Eye of Horus. Now we need to do a table of offerings. I figure we'll just throw some of these in-flight meals out. They're not very good. Sorry, Barry.
Counts.
I thought they were fine. And
so you're going to do Utterance 82?
And Chris,
yes, I just did it.
I'm gonna hit the butt of my photonic wrench just against the frame of the ship, to
amplify.
We'll, try to create a resonance that then Libby will have to speak into.
It does reverberate loudly through the sandstorm. However, the Titan silhouette is not stopped. And as it comes in closer, you realize maybe why. It's entirely made of stone. This was like a limestone statue that has been crossing the desert. And it's giants. The dead didn't, they're still going. Well, I mean, you didn't call them out, to be fair.
Oh, you're not the one who raised them.
Well, no, you used Anubis's name.
Okay, try the other one. Just try any verse of that verse you can get to unraise these dead.
The giant stone hand is coming down to grab the plane, and it is about the size of the plane.
Barry is going to make eye contact as much as he can with Stuart. He's going to say out loud, "I will bring you home, just not today." And he's going to close his eyes and connect with the river Styx.
Is Libby going to shout out another Utterance 82?
Yeah, I'll just keep shouting it until they all die. Until they all re-die, honestly. My goodness.
So they unlive?
Yes. Return to death, everybody. Come on. Libby Scarsdale's asking you to. I'm very attracted.
Okay, so
do you make it look good while you're doing it?
Absolutely.
When you have a photonic wrench as your microphone?
Yes. There's one particular corpse. He used to be a man named I almost said Stanley. He used to be a man named Paul, and he was just a common worker. He worked in a grocery store in Paris, France, until one day he died, and then he was conscripted into an army of the dead. But he was walking alongside all his dead brethren, and he looked up and he saw in the bay. He saw sitting in a beautiful Zeppelin plane hybrid thing, a woman, a blindfold over her eyes, but the most beautiful thing he'd ever seen. And he said, "This is a thing I can die for." And then he died again. I don't know if everyone else did, but Paul did. That's true. I introduced a charm to make it true.
You know, you're just playing into my vanity by using rules from my other games. Why don't we do a savvy roll to see if you can figure out how to unpack Utterance 82 to be like a, you know, Mass Effect, or at least, you know, useful beyond. You're on mute.
Can I add a help die with the microphone setup?
That makes sense. Yeah.
Okay.
So you get another die for your pool from that.
Okay.
Helps.
So-
I also remember being recount the fact that the gods do have to change occasionally.
All right. I'm pressing my luck because I didn't get a success there, and I'm just going to see what happens. Yes, I got one success, and the luck die was a 2. So
Okay.
Yeah.
You find out that, you know, just by omitting the name of the god, it'll be kind of a generic effect.
oh, hell yeah. Good for me.
So you just like say it without the calling out a god, and then everybody, including Stuart, just drops into the sand. But this enormous statue of Anubis, this giant jackal head made out of stone, is grabbing the plane. So let's see how Barry does getting you out of dodge. That is a pilot roll.
Punch it.
Okay.
Punch it.
Well, drive, I guess.
Drive. Okay. Good.
It starts
I rolled
back on
30
her.
dice for this.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Blindfolds.
Yeah,
I'm not putting a
actually-
blindfold on, for the record.
Okay, cool.
I'm gonna
Okay.
see everything.
Scarlett's like, been there, done that, got that t-shirt.
My God, it's full of stars.
3 6s.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll give you a couple hero die for the next roll.
I'm really glad you
Nice.
got a bunch of 6s on this one.
Yeah. Well,
I rolled 10 dice. It's pretty good for drive.
yeah, it's okay. So the effect of those who are not wearing so I guess that's just Amelia and Barry not wearing blindfolds, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is like that. It's like in Interstellar or any of those movies where the universe just completely stretches and collapses around you. And I think the effect of that is we don't really have a role in this game for like sanity.
Cosmic madness.
Yeah, but that's kind of what we're gonna do.
Sure, like a stress kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think what we're gonna do is roll the endure
Mm.
to see how well you can withstand.
Oh, I
the
did put
effects of
1
this.
into endure, so.
Okay. You also, I don't think you did last time, but you do have a hero die from one of your rolls.
Oh, that's
I
right.
forgot to remind you to use
Yes.
it.
Okay.
And then Barry's got 2.
I'll use that
Yeah.
now.
If you get 6s on those, you get additional effects.
I got 2 6s.
Okay. It's starting to all come back now. You've seen this before. You know how to reject. It's like when you are feeling nauseated from
Mm.
riding in a car or something, like a car sick. You look at the horizon, like you know where to look.
Right. Reorient. Yeah.
Right. to kind of.
I also
see
got
past
2
it.
6s and a 2 and a 3 on my hero dice. So.
Oh, okay. Well, with the 2 6s, it's a different effect for you. Obviously you are able to withstand it. And it's only because you suddenly like everything makes sense. Like, oh, that's how the universe is constructed. Okay,
Excellent.
I just needed to look extra dimensionally. All right, I have a fourth dimensional mind. It doesn't take time to go distance. Okay, I get it. It's sort of like you
I
got
think I just
almost
got
an
a-
academic understanding of what's going
I
on.
got a glimpse of the finalized unified field theory that actually eventually comes together.
Right, you're like I get it. Okay, all right.
Oh,
Too bad I'm dead on record because you can't write the book.
right.
now.
Yeah, that's
But-
okay. I'll make sure
Ghost write it.
some cool people get the right hints.
Okay, and then the painted lady is you're navigating to London, right?
Yes.
All right. So the painted lady is flying over London. I don't know if air traffic control is a problem right now in London, but they are on high alert because of the
The
upcoming
bombing.
war.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you do get ushered by other planes to a military airfield. So
I check in with Miss Director. Shall we abide by our escorts?
I mean, do I have a way of speaking? Like, do I have a code or something, or something from Ella, or does Amelia? Like, does one of us have like a, hey, we're allies, we're okay?
Yeah, you have the protocol.
Oh yeah,
So
I must have been sent with something since
Right,
we had to come
yeah.
here.
Yeah.
So you're being ushered to the airfield where you're supposed to go,
Okay.
and we'll end there.
Cool.
Unlike last time, I forgot to do experience, so let's do that.
All right.
Hooray.
We did catch up though offline, everyone. So the experience questions are.
Oh, also, I forgot my ambition is uncover lost knowledge. I realized I could have gotten a thing
could
for
have used
that
your
earlier.
ambition, right? That's so funny about these kind of rules like games. You kind of forget the rules that are there.
Yeah.
All right. So did you participate in the session? Okay. Well, so you get an experience for that.
Hey.
Did you risk your life because of your ambition? I think you can count that because sanity kind of falls into that.
Sure.
Did you risk your life for another adventurer?
A lot of life risking this session.
I don't think I did.
Yeah. Did you perform an amazing act of some kind?
Yes.
Always. Yeah.
Always.
And I'm like, I feel like Scarlett really just did a lot of like momming today.
Yeah, it was sort of like momming and like, oh crap.
I feel like I did an amazing.
Yes. Yeah, you got the pilot to understand how to. You would have been trapped in Libya. That was the plan, actually.
That would have been awkward.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know. I shouted at Libby to use Utterance 82 to unraise dead.
Thank you so much for that. I feel like it brought us closer.
And that did save people, so I think you can count that.
Mm-hmm.
Did you accomplish your mission's goal? Actually, in this case, you did.
I
go to London.
I got to London.
Yeah,
by myself without any help.
It's our goal. Get to London.
Yeah, and did you rescue someone? I think you could argue that you rescued Stuart from
being a zombie.
Yeah.
Rescued Frank from losing his mind.
Right. Well, I
chose to put a cover over. I could have.
You chose to do that. You're right. Okay.
You rescued Barry's relationship with the organization.
That too.
Ooh, that works.
Yeah.
You know who we didn't rescue though was
That's
Vivi.
just one thing though, right? We just get 1 point for all of that.
Yes, right. 1 point for each one of those.
Vivian Anubis Smith.
He was really quite beautiful until she opened that strange box and consumed its contents. They told her not to eat the sarcophagus, but she wouldn't stop herself.
Don't eat the black goo. That's
okay. Well, I think that will wrap it up for this session.
okay.
We will be back in 2 weeks.
Yay.
To figure out what's going on with Eleanor and FDR and if maybe their marriage can be rescued, which is, of course, the whole point of this entire campaign.
Yes.
We don't really care at this point about where Seti I is. We're not all that interested in where the Eye of Horus is. We really don't care that a statue of Anubis is trying to crush the Libyan desert, but we do care that FDR and Eleanor have a good partnership going into the war.
Stanley
if
is
I have a
taking
level
care
up-
of things.
Oh, I'm sorry. What were you saying, Emily?
Stanley is taking care of things.
Stanley
It's
is
great. Yeah.
Stanley is watching over the artifacts.
Oh, Stanley. And so I was mixing up Stuart and Stanley. I
Oh.
thought this was a whole other thing. Okay.
Yeah, Stanley is. He works for the register.
Chris, if I have a level up question, should I ask you about that on Slack or now, or like what's the best way to do that?
We'll go ahead and ask it now since we kind of are above
Okay.
board about the rules.
So talents cost 15 XP, right?
It costs 5 XP to learn a new talent.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I have one talent now, but it's just 5 to learn a new talent?
Right.
Okay, so I wanted to pitch one. You can do talents that aren't in the book, right? Those are sort of...
They're suggestions. Also, you have to roll. Let me make sure I understand the rule that I wrote.
Roll wit.
You roll to see if you can learn the talent from a teacher, in effect.
Oh,
so
okay.
as long as we can build that into what you're doing.
Okay, so what I was picturing was a talent called Sleepless, where Amelia no longer needs to sleep, like doesn't get sleepy. And that, I think the benefit is like she doesn't have to sleep to get the benefit of a rest.
Okay.
Like something like that. A lot of them have like skill bonuses and stuff. I wasn't sure what to do with it, but after everything that was going on and the staying up late and then opening her mind to the universe, I was just picturing this like, in some reality, I already slept, so I'm just going to benefit from that. And it's sort of a multiphasic consciousness thing.
Okay, so all you have to do is roll 1 die, and
Okay.
if it's a success, you can take that talent.
1 die.
And you can try again another day.
Okay.
If you don't.
I'm trying to delete some of the other... Go away. Okay. It's a 3.
Okay. So you can try again tomorrow.
Okay.
But if you know somebody that knows how to do that, you can get an automatic success. That's what the rule is.
Okay.
Can I pitch that? I would like the talent. I can never be lost, no matter where I am. Can I have learned some of that with the unlocked memory with my dad?
Oh yeah, that totally checks.
Ooh,
yeah, but
cool.
but you'll need a roll.
Cool.
To make sure. So
Cool.
roll once and see if you got a success. Otherwise, you'll have to keep trying that. Like you're still assimilating it.
Cool. 2. Never mind.
All right, we'll try again.
I'm lost. I have no idea where I am.
Well, there's no cost to failing. It's just that you'll need to keep trying. Okay. So that's where we're landing. I guess we should probably wrap it up. Who wants to go first? Oh, I have to pick somebody.
I'll go first.
Okay. Emily, tell us about yourself.
I'm Emily St. James. I have played Libby Scarsdale this evening. If you enjoyed what I just did, more books about 1930s journalism can be found in your local library. If you want to know more about me, you can find me on Twitter at twitter.com/EmilyVDW. This is the game I play in every 2 weeks. It's the only one, but hopefully there will be some other mischief happening soon. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and with Libby. And if she visits you in your home, just, listen to her. She has so many wonderful messages to spread to all of us. I can't get rid of her. So.
Awesome. Blythe?
Hi, I've been Blythe, and this is Chopper, who has decided to attack me for the last 10 minutes. Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram and most places on the internet as BlytheKala93. That's BLYTHEKALA93. My Twitter is currently private because I had to deal with some things. So, and I might just keep it private. I don't know yet. But as far as where you can find me on the interwebs, I'm here. Hopefully going to be up at over the Scabby Rooster soon, doing Total Party Kill, where we play monsters, killing the heroes, trying to destroy our dungeons. Because that's so mean. Why would they destroy our dungeons? That will be on Mondays at like 8 p.m. I'll let you know when that goes live. And hopefully I have some very exciting news over the next few weeks that I can't share yet, but really want to share.
Does it start with N and end with DA?
It might have something to do with that.
Awesome. Joe.
Hi, everybody. I'm Joe, and I was Barry. You can find me. You can try my Twitter. I don't check it. I'm just going to be upfront. There's probably messages in there that are really important from people that I haven't seen. But you can try. And if we were meant to connect, we will. You could also try me on Facebook or anywhere else. Just search my name. I talk about mental health. I talk about Star Wars and geeky stuff. I do have a few short stories on Asian mental health coming out soon. I'll know when I get feedback on that, when I can post that. Follow if you're interested. Also, you can catch me here on Happy Jacks as well as on Saturdays. There's this guy, Jason, that I'm in a game with. We are set in the world of XCOM, and we are soldiers trying to rebuild the war-torn world. And it's really fun and really awesome. I played the opposite of Barry. So if you'd like to see my range, check that show too.
You meant Ranger.
My Ranger, I had something in my throat. If you'd like to check out my Ranger character that I play, check that podcast, that campaign, not podcast.
Is his
campaign.
name is his name Harry Bavlog?
It should have been.
It still could be. I haven't properly named him yet.
Oh yeah, we only know his call sign so far.
We just know my call sign.
Just name him like John Scarsdale and just have him talk about his great grandmother a lot.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I guess that leaves me. Hi, I'm Jason. I've been playing Amelia Earhart, literally Amelia Earhart, not just somebody also named that after her crash. So she's now a secret agent for Eleanor's Angels. You can find me here every other Sundays and hopefully on some upcoming stuff as we do the studio switch that Chris was talking about up top. So lots of fun stuff happening here on Happy Jacks. And if you follow me on Twitch and Twitter at It's Probably Okay, you can find my Twitch channel there, where on Tuesdays or Wednesdays, I like to play games that are hard and you die a lot. That's on Wednesdays we wear death, but it might be on Tuesdays, so we'll see. There's a scheduling issue. Fridays, I have a 2-player setup on Twitch where my friend Sam and I do video games together. And on Saturday afternoons at 1 p.m. Pacific time, we have the XCOM RPG using the Band of Blades system, GM'd by the one and only Pooja of, you can find her at LA Desi Girl, LADESI Girl on Twitter. And she's amazing and prolific, and you should follow her. So that's all I have to say about that.
Awesome. Well, thank you, everybody. Oh, Emily, were you saying something? No, you came up to microphone pose.
I like to look like, I feel like this is a good look for me. Honestly,
it's like
want the
I am
fans to
poised.
get-
I am
yeah.
poised at the microphone.
I just want the fans to get, just see me at my best.
Yeah, well, that's a screen capture right there, for a thumbnail. Okay, well, I am Christopher Gray. This has been Temples and Tombs, and on the Happy Jacks RPG Network, and we will be back in a couple weeks. See you then.